sometimes people think about audit as a profession, but actually what you learn is how to handle clients. And the practical aspects about auditing is being able to handle people. Yes, how to ask for information, how to be able to check whether that information is right, how to understand what you are checking, the discipline of the fact that no one is supervising you. Yes, you have an audit senior who is supervising you, an audit manager, but really you go to a client, you're on your own.
You're on your own, yep.
So, and actually what we saw then, or at least what I saw and my peer group was, PwC gave you opportunity, or that type of firm gave you opportunity as a platform for you, whatever career you want. So the initial training was very foundational in terms of analytical
And for
training.
context, what year is this that you go into this?
And just before the beginning of 93, so end of 92.
Okay, and 92 is pivotal as well.
Yeah.
Because of what now the Gen Zs are calling the Saba, the original Saba.
Yes, 92 was that, yeah. It
The
was
multipartism.
The multipartism. Yes. Actually, we actually were graduating at a time that there was a lot of things happening. Multi-party was coming in. The currency piece changed a lot between 92 and 94.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's when you had, the CBK kind of started to control all that, to move controls over foreign exchange. It sounds like a long time ago, but it sounds like Kenya has had open foreign exchange for a very long time. But actually, that time you needed CBK approval to import stuff or to get allocation for FX.
For real?
Yes.
Wow.
At that time. And then I think it was 93, 94 when they now completely deregulated. Now you could get it from any bank.
So just from an economic standpoint of a country, you're getting into employment when there's a lot of change happening within the country. So now and you're telling me about this training that you're getting. Now walk me in through your first official job.
So first of all, it's a dream come true in terms of going into a PwC. Because when you look at the career path, so you're thinking now, I'm going to be partner. Isn't it? And you've seen, I remember the partners, they really used to inspire when they come for those talks. And you kind of say, yes, I want to be like this guy.
So they're really inspiring you for the talk.
So the impact that we have, that what I've learned, the impact we have at that time, you're saying, yeah, I want to be like this guy. Even the manager level, because you have people in the middle, but also the senior partner coming in to be involved in recruitment. And you're saying, if this guy can be involved in recruitment, then we must be important, isn't it? This must be important for the firm. They must be looking for after talent. And
what are they training you to be? What's this?
So role? Then when you join, when you are all you know is you are joining this global firm.
Oh, you don't know the role.
No. It's an audit. It's an audit role.
Okay.
Initially, most people joined in audit, and then you can transfer to other functions.
Okay.
But you join, but you are joining a global firm. You're not just joining a Kenya organization, but you're joining a global firm. And then now you do. I think they used to have a full month without going to a client for training. And so you're trained on accounting, you're trained on how to handle clients, you're trained on analytics, you're trained on audit, you're trained all these things. But basically the foundations, and then now they sponsor you to do all the accounting exams. But at that time, most of us were already doing those accounting exams. So I remember that I think I completed my accounting exams in the year that the CPAs,
CPAs.
In the year that I joined
the
firm. So I also completed my accounting exams. So
and so that's separate from Nairobi University, because that's
you
did that in Strathmore.
So I went to Strathmore. So that's why I know all the guys from Strathmore.
Oh,
yeah.
So while you're doing
McPhee taught us
yes.
in accounting. So you are doing the accounting pieces in the evenings or whatever. So we studied. So we did the university
By
education,
day?
and then did all the accounting pieces in the evening.
Wow.
And so by the time now we joined, and it wasn't just me, even quite a few of the people. But remember, because we came from very different functions, disciplines, PwC was recruiting regardless, as long as you did well in your degree, didn't matter which degree.
Did you do well?
I did very well.
Okay. Can you say what you graduated with?
Almost, I mean, upper second, but close to the top of the class. But it didn't matter which course you took, as long as you had a very strong result. But also the interview. They were interviewing for broader skills, your exposure. Of course, schools influenced, but not necessarily, because we had people from all schools. It wasn't just national schools. So so I think there was of course they must have been looking for certain characteristics of the people who are joining, and then the training for 2 years. 3 years for you to qualify, but because me, I had already qualified. But remember, the training, it's also a certification process for you to be registered as an accountant.
I get
so
it.
3 years includes your experience. Passing exam is one, but then you have to have practical experience for you to be registered by ISPAC. But then I got after 2 years, I was one of the three from PwC. We went on a secondment now to the UK.
Okay, just before you go to the UK, now you start working.
Yeah.
If the training is one thing, but you now start working with clients.
Correct.
This is now no longer theory, now it's practical. Who are some of the people you worked with?
As in industry?
Yes.
Yeah. So
you're auditing. Or are you working at the,
So the way it worked is that you are allocated to clients as an audit assistant. Okay. So I started from the bottom. People think that everyone starts. When they see CEOs, they say, "What kind of how have?" So when I interview or when I talk to graduates, I ask them, "So, what is your objective?" "Oh, I want to be CEO. Tell me the path." They don't realize you have to. You don't climb a tree from the top. So we were called audit assistants.
Yeah.
And then you learn, then you become, so it was assistant, it was assistant audit assistant, and then you go to the second assistant, then you go to audit senior, then you go to assistant manager, and then full manager, senior manager, partner. Wow. That was the hierarchy.
Yes.
So in your first year, you're audit assistant 1, then you do assistant 2, then you do audit senior, then you fully qualify, then you're now eligible to be either assistant manager, etc. But so you start auditing, and you are randomly allocated to any clients the firm wants to allocate you. So you don't choose at the beginning, at least, until you now start specializing. And the specializing, by the way, emerge out of randomness, because you are not the ones who are allocated yourself.
Yeah.
But it may be also skills. Maybe you are more suited to certain industries. So I did a lot of work in banking, insurance. So banking and insurance, and a bit of service, like leisure and tourism and all that stuff. But I still remember some of my audits with insurance companies like QAP, even Britac. I still remember some of the directors who now they have left were still there, and I speak to them. So I still remember the people who were either finance directors or CEOs at that time. People like Wairegi were at the time were in Britac, so worked with, but the thing I remember about my audit. Sometimes people think about audit as a profession, but actually what you learn is how to handle clients, and the practical aspects about auditing is being able to handle people. Yes, how to ask for information, how to be able to check whether that information is right, how to understand what you are checking, the discipline of the fact that no one is supervising you. Yes, you have an audit senior who is supervising you, an audit manager, but really you go to a client, you're on your own.
You're on your own, yep.
Yeah. And I remember we were so committed at that time. So we would come in at 7 latest. We were in the office. Of course, the reporting time was 8. But you would see the audit room. We used to have something we were calling the audit room because it's a big room because you are going to clients. You don't need seats.
Yep.
So you have an audit room and you have a pilot case which you put all your document, and then you go to a client and then you allocated whatever client. Then depending on your performance, the seniors will look for individuals who they will have had are good auditors. You get what I mean? So your reputation now starts to push you to be given more
responsibilities.
More responsibilities, more interesting audits. You know, there are some people who are booked more than others. Of course, you know why. More if you're not as good, people or the seniors will avoid booking you. But effectively, now you start forming a pattern. You start liking certain sectors. So me, I kind of started liking banking and capital markets and insurance and so on and so forth, and services generally. So even so, before I went to Diageo, which is a manufacturing organization, I never worked in a manufacturing organization. But you learn a lot of skills, analytical skills, people relations. You work, collaborate, because you have to help each other. I was very good in reconciling tax. You know, for people who studied finance, for you to actually get the accounts to work, you have to make sure the tax computation works.
Yes.
So it's so I would take home people's work. I would go and help them reconcile the stuff. But I remember there's one time a friend of mine, I can't say the name, but we swapped cases by mistake. So I went home and I couldn't open the case, and he couldn't open the case, of course. So the following morning, and you know, your record, this is the last thing you are doing before your audit manager come.
Yeah.
So he had the tax not reconciled, and he's going for a review with the manager. So, but anyway, but the help we used to, I mean, the collaboration that you learn when you are in a professional firm is massive, and it stays with you
all through.
And it is for you're not benefiting from supporting others. But because it's a knowledge environment, helping is part of building knowledge, yeah. And the system worked, you know. So it was a fantastic, very, very hard work. Of course, we would work hard and go and play hard.
Yes.
I have to be honest. And we were young, in our 20s. We would, and that's not the time when if you go out, you don't need 3 days to recover. You need a couple of hours. So we'd go out. Like on a Saturday, of course, you don't go out during the week because it's just the professional work. Just means you can't appear in front of clients if you're looking tired. But on a Friday night, we would go out.
Yeah.
Then we'd still come back on the Saturday morning at 8 a.m. and continue working.
Wow.
And until evening. So it was such an intense but very enjoyable and very great time to build your foundation, to work damn hard, and really deliver the best for clients. And remember, when you're auditing, you're not necessarily passing good news. Sometimes it's bad news. So you have to have the ability to communicate and still keep clients happy. So sometimes auditors are actually very good in passing bad news because they have been used to giving information, even if people don't like it, but you do it in the right way. But you also make mistakes. You also go overboard. Sometimes a client escalates. I remember there's one finance director who said, "I don't see this guy." Then the manager asked me the problem. I said, "Because this is what's going on." Then you realize there's something that the client doesn't want to come out. But you have to stay your ground.
Wow.
I still remember there's one time we had one client trying to mislead us by giving us false information, and we had to and we discovered it, and eventually we qualified the accounts. So I was thinking, if we hadn't, and it was a bank, if we hadn't, and you are signing, so you learn a sense of responsibility from very, very early days, and but also a sense of just standing for what you believe in, and but also you also realize all the things you studied don't matter. actually, that's one of the things I say to people. Undergraduate, unless you are studying medicine, undergraduate is just to help you get a professional qualification. But work teaches you things that you never learned in university. And this is a very technical course. Because even the business course stuff, the stuff you probably start to use some of what you learn much later in your career, because the stuff you do at the beginning are very basic. You don't need a degree to do any of that stuff. It's just common sense, good judgment, common sense, good judgment, and actually dealing with people.
The Kenyan saying, kwa ground vitu ni different.
Yeah.
But kwa ground vitu, yeah. Anyway, yes. So, your path, I keep hearing, first of all, I love the fact that you talk about incremental growth. So, even in this audit phase, there is incremental growth that you're doing as you deliver on the responsibilities that you've been given in the different levels that you are. But now, it gets you selected to be what did you say? To be sent to UK?
So Pricewaterhouse used to have two types of secondments.
Secondments,
one
yes.
is you could go in, one or two people could go in and to study abroad the accounting exams. So the CA, Chartered Accountancy in the UK, one or two people would go, and then another one or two or three people would go on a secondment after now qualifying locally. Wow. So me, I went on the second.
Okay.
Which was at the time was only a very small selected group. So I went to the London office, which was the most, of course, prestigious.
And what year is this now?
96. So I went into, and I remember. First of all,
you've never been abroad.
No. Actually, I should have told the story about. So remember when you. Many of us actually got passports when we got we got into employment. So I got a passport when I went to PwC because there was regional work.
Yes.
So we went to places like that. And when we talk about abroad, it doesn't mean it's not Europe. It is Tanzania, Uganda type. You know. In fact, I remember one guy who came with a very broad smile and said. In the audit room, I'm going abroad. Then people asked him, so where? Tanzania. But actually, that was the first time he was going abroad. So of course, he had gotten his passport. So
you went abroad.
So I went now to PwC. So I remember landing in the UK.